All right, today we're going to talk about negative numbers. But in order to talk about negative numbers, I want us to go back to the idea of what a number is. Right? We kind of have the sense that a number is really just a quantity or an amount. Right? So we're going to take this idea of number, we're going to break it down into some pieces. So we're going to break this down. So we've got positive numbers, right? And what could we say about positive numbers? Positive numbers are the numbers you understand. They're not like they don't freak you out, you don't cry, nothing really big deal stuff happens there when you think about positive numbers. Then there are the negative numbers. What can we say about the negative numbers? No, that's not what we're going to say. Try again, say something nice. Negative numbers are evil. No, again, not really helpful. One of the ways we can talk about what negative numbers are is we can say that negative numbers are the opposite of positive numbers. Okay, well, what does that mean? What does opposite mean? Well, we could say that positive numbers, well, we kind of know what they are, right? Like positive 3 is a positive 1, a positive 1, and a positive 1. Right? It's plus 1, plus 1, plus 1. That's what a positive number is. And that a negative number, like negative 3 then, would just be negative 1, and negative 1. It would be 3 minus 1s in a certain sense. And that might help sort of understand it a little bit. But to me, the way to think about it is to think about these things in terms of king 0. All right. So what is king 0? 0 is sort of, it's that value, that one quantity right between negative and positive. It's sort of the neutral number. It's not a positive number. It's not a negative number. It's the only number that's not really a negative thing or a positive thing. So how does this help us understand what a negative number is and why I say that a negative number is the opposite of a positive number? Well, here's what we mean. Let's say we have a positive number, good old-fashioned positive 1, just to keep it simple. When we say that a negative number is the opposite of a positive number, what we mean is that if we take the negative of 1, the opposite of 1, and we combine those through addition subtraction, because they're opposite and because of what opposite means, that combination is going to be 0. That's what we mean when we say opposite. We mean that if we had a negative 4 and we combine that with positive 4, that because those things are opposite, that combination has to be 0. If we were to have a positive 9 and we were to combine it with the opposite of positive 9, that negative 9, right? Because of what opposite means. Opposite means that effectively they balance each other out. They are equally opposing, one being on the negative side, one being on the positive side. So even a positive 5 without a plus sign in front of it, don't freak out, it's still just a positive 5. If we're combining it with a negative 5, because of what negative 5 means, because it's the opposite of positive 5, we know that that result is 0. Right? Even for numbers whose quantity we don't know or whose quantity might change, if we were to have the opposite of whatever x is, right, some unknown number, but we were combining it with the positive of that number, because they are opposite, because of what that number means, we know that combination is 0. For me, this is the best way to understand what we mean when we say that negative numbers are the opposite of positive numbers. In math, the fancy word for it is additive opposite, but we're not going to freak out about that too much. Right? It's the opposite because they add up to 0. There are some other ways you can think about this. You can think of negative numbers as being holes in the ground and positive numbers being mountains. You can think of positive numbers as having money and negative numbers as having debt. You can think of positive numbers as standing in front of something and negative numbers as standing however you need to think about that is fine. I want to make sure that we understand what this word opposite means and what it means in relation to negative numbers and positive numbers.